Good evening. Oh, excuse me. Good evening. I'm Kath Lloyd from Make the Change. And it is Wednesday, the 14th of March, and we are going to be talking about strategizing your strategy. Excuse me. Okay. So this is the Strategize Your Strategy is the seventh strategy in my book When Dad Became Joan. Now, we have already looked at the importance of values, putting your hand on your heart, managing your belief system, stop playing the victim, just looking at my list here, laws of attraction, acceptance, and now it is about strategizing your strategy. So why do we need a strategy? Well, if you don't have some form of a strategy, how are you going to know how to make life different, better, brighter, happier, more content, more fulfilled than what you have got at the moment? And you hear a lot of people talking about you've got to be action planning, you've got to be making progress, you've got to be growing, personal development, all of these things. But until you know what it is that you want to do, how are you going to start doing that? And so it's all very well, having these high-powered words being bombarded at you rather, all of the time. But hopefully, if you've been following the previous Let's Talks, you've been able to start working out what it is that you want differently, what you are thinking and feeling, how that relates to how you're behaving, so that you're in a better position to start, to start putting some kind of strategy together so that you can move forwards in a more realistic way. Because we can move, can't we? We can put into action things to be different, but it's got to be the right actions to give you what you want for, a good future, so that you've got the longevity of the happiness, the contentment, the fulfillment, and all of those other things that are incorporated with it. So, the place that I really like to start when I'm action planning is how to download. Okay, now downloading is really, really important, and there's no real rules to this. You do it the best way that you can. But I'm a big believer in mind mapping, because you can start to, it's a very fluid process. You can start to download your ideas and you can add to it really, really easily. Some people like to do things in lists, some people like to do things in boxes. But actually, you can combine all of those different ideas into a mind map and make it really colourful. Because I'm a big colour orientated person, and so you can actually bring that in as well. And use different colours for different areas of your life so that they can really stand out and it becomes really visual for you, so that you can see very clearly which areas of your life you're looking at and where it's going. So, I say there's no rules to this, except there is one rule. All right. And that is, in the center of your mind map, put a picture of something that represents you, of where you want to be going towards. Okay. So, say, for example, you are wanting to be fitter and healthier, then you put a picture there that represents what it is that you are aiming for. So again, if it's about happiness and contentment, that picture that represents that. And, your mind maps can be about all sorts of different things. and then you can extend them with other ones. So you can have a mind map specifically how you're feeling, you know, how you want to develop your feelings, your thoughts, your behavior. You could have one specifically that is work related or business related, or you can just have a general one. All right, but it does make it, if you have a general mind map, it can make it very, very large, and then it can feel very dominating, and it might actually put you off. But it doesn't mean to say that you couldn't start off with a general mind map and then home it down into little areas, into more manageable chunk sizes. And then, as you're working on your mind map, we don't always think rationally and follow on with ideas. And it means that you can just jot about and put the ideas down when they come up. And it might be that you have a good influx of ideas, and then you need a little bit of a breather. You need your brain to process some of the information and allow some of that information to come up and out, and then you can record it. And often this is done when we are in a relaxed state. So, some people say, I always have my best ideas when I'm ironing. Well, that doesn't do me because I don't iron very often. All right. But like for me, it's often when I'm walking the dogs, and it is about when you're relaxed. And so you've got to allow you've got to allow yourself time to relax, so these thought processes can come to the front, and they become obvious to you so that you can work on them. All right. But the mind mapping is a great way of downloading. It's very, very quick to do because you're not writing out great big long sentences of stuff. And often just one or two words can depict what it is that you're trying to manage in your life. So say it's about your thought processes. How do you want to be thinking? And then you put that down. So is it that you want to be thinking more positively or more creatively or more calmly or more constructively? What is it that you want to be feeling? Is it that you want to be feeling more in control? Is it about feeling happier, more content, more fulfilled? Is it, about having better relationships in your life? Is it about having a better relationship with yourself? Is it about going out and having more fun and excitement? Or is it about you trying to develop your work life, your qualifications, your skills? Okay, and so this is really then links into the behaviour. So what do you want to be doing differently? Is it that you want to have more time management, better time management? Is it that you want to have a better work-life balance? Is it that you want to have happier relationships with people or with yourself? Is it that you want to have more time to go on holiday? Okay, so this is where actually just having those three headings, feelings, thoughts, behaviour, actually can spread across the whole of your life, because this is your thoughts, your feelings, your behavior. You can put down there on that piece of paper exactly what you want, as long as you're being true to yourself, as long as you're listening to what's going on in your heart and what's going on in your head. All right, because this is the perfect place to start trying to combine these together to get to where you want to be in the future. And so when you've started to put all of those, little connections down, it's then looking at what can you start working on first. All right. Now, everybody's different. Some people are going to start on the big thing, all right, and other people are going to start on the little things. If you're a little bit unsure, then start on the things that are easier to do, because whether it's a big step or a little step, every step, however big it is going to make a change. All right, it's just like Robinson talks about, Anthony Robbins talks about, a golfing scenario when he was learning to play golf, and, at the tiniest incorrect angle, when it grows and grows and grows, it's going to make a huge difference. And this is exactly the same with us when we are putting things into action. So the smallest change in your feeling or your thought or your behavior is actually going to have big changes, okay, the more you progress with that. So it might be a little change tomorrow, but then that will change, will grow and grow and grow and grow day by day. Okay, and these are, all the things that I talk about, a lot, which is about your gratitude. So that is about, concentrating on the positive things in your life. And that will grow. The more you do it, the more it will grow and it'll become easier. It's about thinking about how you want to be talking to yourself. Okay, being more positive, being more encouraging to yourself, celebrating your successes. All of that is going to get easier as you progress day by day. All right, so it's about picking one thing that you can do differently. Okay, and when are you going to do it? That's the really, really important thing. I mean, I had my mentoring session this afternoon with my mentor, and, I decided that, this is what I need to do first of all. And then I put it in my diary for Monday morning. That's what I'm going to do Monday. That's what I'm going to follow up on. And once I know it's in my diary, unless something big happens or unexpected happens, that is what I will do. Because when you take your car for a service, or you go to the dentist, or it's your kids' parents' evening, you make a commitment to those things. And it's exactly the same with ourselves. We have to make a commitment. We have to be accountable to ourselves to follow through and have an end result. Unfortunately, though, what we can do is say, I'm going to plan to do this on Monday morning at 9 o'clock, and it's going to take me this amount of time. And then if it's a phone call, they're not answering the phone, or they've got to speak to somebody else. And that's where, things can push things can easily go off in the wrong direction if we're not careful. But it's about, planning, put a date on it, put a time on it, so that you're more accountable, and how much time you think you're going to need to be able to fulfill that activity. And then at the end of the day, when you're doing your gratitude, okay, before you go to sleep, is what went well for you. Okay, and celebrate that fact. And then once you've accomplished that, or that tiny little action, you can tick that off and then start on another action. Because, when I first started doing all of this, I'd set myself great big long lists of actions which were totally unrealistic, because I would forget to take into consideration that the dog needed to go for a walk, that I actually had to take the kids to the bus stop, or, the washing up had to be done, or we had to go out visiting, or go to the dentist. And, it's very, very easy to cram our diaries with things that we need to do, but we're not giving ourselves enough space to be able to, one, do that action, two, live life realistically, and three, have the relaxation time so that you can develop and appreciate the feelings and the thoughts and the behaviours that we are having, to appreciate the good ones, to have a little time to reflect on the ones that haven't gone so well, so that we can put it right the next time and hopefully try not to make the same mistakes. All right, because this is what the whole process is about, isn't it? It's about learning from our mistakes so that we can do them better next time. So, planning your ideas, okay, they're not set in stone. You can change them because things happen, things get in the way, and sometimes our plans have to change for a little bit, or, even for a long time. And that's okay, because sometimes we just have to go with the flow. All right, sometimes we can't force, a square peg into a round hole. We aren't able to have the right tools to shave that square peg down so it'll fit in properly. We have to adapt, we have to overcome. It's rather like, when we had the snow the other week, and, I was looking on Facebook, so many people getting frustrated with the snow and getting stuck in the traffic and not being able to get to work, and and people were ranting and raving about it. But actually, in situations like that, we do have to be flexible. We have to understand the frustrations, and we have to adapt. And as human beings, that is what we are good at, actually, is being adaptable. And that's why we have got to where we have got to. Okay. So, yes, your mind map is about recording your ideas of all the different things that you want to be different, where you want to be going, and then you can start picking and choosing which ones you want to work on, which are the ones that perhaps are going to give you the best results or the biggest step forwards with the least amount of effort. And it's about you to pick what is right for you. All right, don't pick what is right for somebody else, because it's not them working on it. This is about you, your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviour. All right, so think about it in terms of what is best for you. Okay. Then, these are the questions that go with the mind map. All right, now, like I've said before, if you haven't got a pen and paper with you, then don't worry, because you can play the video back, or, it's only a small selection of questions. The questions are in the book because, there is space to write. All right. So, pick one new thing to do each day to work on. All right, so be realistic about it. And then at the end of that day, I want you to reflect on how it's gone. All right, so I've got 5 questions that I want you to ask yourself at the end of each day. All right, so number 1, what went well and why? So from that task that you did, what went well and why? Mind you, these are the good things to ask anyway. All right, just to reflect and learn from what's happened in the day. So number 1, what went well and why? Number 2, what didn't go so well today and why? Because we can learn from the both. All right. So what didn't go so well today and why? And when you're doing that why, you've got to put your hand on your heart, because it might be it didn't go so well because it might be that you were in a bad mood, or you procrastinated and you left it too late to make that phone call, or you just didn't bother, or it could be something totally untowards that took you quite by surprise and you just weren't able to do it. All right, but it's still, make a note of it so that you can refer back to it if you need to. Number 3, what could I have done differently? So perhaps whatever went well could have gone even better if you'd done something differently. All right. And for what didn't go so well, what could you have done differently to make it work a little bit better? Number 4. Now this is really, really important because we forget about our transferable skills, and we gather a lot of skills, a lot of knowledge along our life, and sometimes we can just, for whatever reason, we can just disregard it or just not even remember it. So, what have I done successfully in the past that could support me on this? So, what have I done successfully in the past, that could support me on this? And then the last one, what support do I need and from whom? So that support could be anything from shoulder to cry on because it didn't go well, or somebody to say, come on, get your ass into gear and get on with it, stop messing around. Or it could be that you need some support from a co-worker or a member of the family, or even you might need some support. Say, something's gone wrong in the house, that you couldn't do the jobs because the electric went down, just like me the other week on Let's Talk, and you need somebody to come in and service, I don't know, something in the house. All right, sometimes we have to pay for the support. All right, but only you know this in relation to whatever it is that you're working on. Okay, so I'll just run through those questions again. What went well today and why? What didn't go so well today and why? What could I have done differently? What have I done successfully in the past that could support me on this? And what support do I need and from whom? Okay. And then start thinking about what you're going to work on tomorrow and how you're going to start doing it. So it's a little each day, okay, is going to make huge steps forwards. All right. So that is only an introduction to strategizing your strategy. But until you start, writing things down, you're going to struggle to see the bigger picture. I was chatting with a chap the other week, and he was he wasn't sure where to go. His job was finishing in about 5 weeks. It's probably 3 weeks now. He's going, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know which direction to go in. And, I said, oh, something about you haven't got long. He goes, well, I work better under pressure. And so, we just had a little conversation about how he could start, working things out and seeing where he was going. And I mentioned about mind mapping, and he sort of wrinkled his nose at it. And I said, just seeing everything written down does make it easier to understand, which sort of direction you want to go in. So that has come to the end of the introduction and the 7 strategies from my book. Now, next week is going to be the last Let's Talk for a few weeks because it's holiday time for me, which I'm really excited about. And it's an interactive Let's Talk next week. And I'm going to be discussing 3 doTERRA essential oils. So I'm going to be discussing peppermint, lemon and lavender. Okay, now the reason why I want it to be interactive is because I want you to be able to smell and taste the oils like I am. Because unless you can smell and taste them, you're not going to be able to, unless you use doTERRA oils anyway, you're not going to be able to understand the purity and the strength of those oils. So what I'm suggesting is, if you want to be able to be fully interactive in next week's Let's Talk, then you need to send me a personal message requesting the little samples of oils, okay, pretty soon, because I've got to get them into the little sample bottles, get them into the post, ready for you to be able to take part next Wednesday. So, this is something that I want to give you. So there's going to be no charge for the oils, okay? And then at the end, if you like what you have experienced, then there is a great little box of oils with those 3 in that you can purchase for a really reasonable price, actually. And so then you can use them as we've been discussing them. So have a little think about it. Send me a personal message if you'd be really interested in taking part in it. It would be great to hear from you, and be great to have you on board with the interaction. So I'm going to love you and leave you now. Good luck with your strategies, and if there's any questions, then please put them down. All right. If you would like to purchase a copy of my book, that can be on my website, www.kathloyd.co.uk, or Amazon. So paperback £14.99, Kindle version is £6.99, or if you are in Birmingham City Centre, Foyle's bookstore in Grand Central Station in Birmingham has got them on sale there as well for £14.99. But thank you for joining me. Have a great evening, have a great week, and I look forward to speaking to you next Wednesday for the interactive Let's Talk with peppermint, lemon and lavender. So have a lovely evening. Thank you again. Bye bye.